Welcome to our story time. Today we're going to share a touching story about John and Mary, a couple whose love stayed strong through many ups and downs. If this story touches your heart, please subscribe and share it with friends to help spread the love. In a cozy little town surrounded by soft green hills and lively markets, John and Mary first met during their high school years. John was known in town for his skill at football, but when it came to schoolwork, he found himself a bit lost. Mary, on the other hand, was known for her love of books and quiet nature. They met one day in the school library, a place where both felt at home among the books. John approached Mary with a shy smile, holding his history book. "Hi, Mary. I've seen you here a lot. Could you help me understand this part?" he asked, pointing to a paragraph he didn't understand. Mary looked up, her eyes meeting his for the first time, and felt a spark of connection. "Of course, I'd love to help," she said with a smile, happy to share her love for history. As Mary explained the history lesson, John listened intently, not just to her explanations, but also to her voice, which he found surprisingly comforting. They quickly became friends, and over time this friendship blossomed into love. They were often seen together around town, whether at the local diner sharing a milkshake or at the park walking hand in hand. After graduation, they decided they were meant to be together forever and got married in a small ceremony surrounded by family and friends. They moved into a little house on the edge of town, where they started their new life together. Life was simple, but full of happiness. John found work at the local factory, and although the work was hard, he always came home with a smile, eager to see Mary and share a quiet evening together. Mary spent her days taking care of their home, filling it with warmth and love. A few years later, they welcomed their daughter Sarah into the world. Sarah was a bright and curious child, with John's eyes and Mary's calm demeanor. "She's so beautiful," John would often say as he watched Sarah play in the dappled sunlight that filtered through the living room window. "Yes, she is," Mary would agree, her heart swelling with love for both her husband and her daughter. However, life threw them a curveball when the factory John worked at suddenly shut down due to economic troubles. The family faced financial difficulties almost overnight, with bills piling up and little money saved up. One evening, John looked deeply worried as he sat at the kitchen table with stacks of bills in front of him. "What are we going to do, Mary?" he asked, his voice filled with worry. Mary, always the pillar of strength in the family, took his hand and said with a reassuring smile, "We'll find a way, John. We always do." The stress of their financial situation began to affect everyone in the family. Sarah, now a teenager, started to feel the pressure and began staying out late, causing John and Mary to worry even more. But things began to look up when John secured a new job at a construction company. It wasn't as stable as the factory job, but it was a start. To celebrate their slowly improving situation, they saved up enough to go on a family vacation to the beach, their first real holiday in years. "This is so nice," Mary sighed contentedly as she dug her toes into the warm sand, watching John and Sarah play at the edge of the water. "I'm glad we're here together," John replied, smiling broadly. Sadly, not long after their trip, Mary started to experience severe headaches and bouts of exhaustion. After several visits to the doctor, they received heartbreaking news. Mary had a brain tumor. The family was devastated. "Am I going to die?" Mary asked one night, tears streaming down her cheeks as she lay in bed. John, holding her hand tightly, said with determination, "We will fight this, Mary. I'm right here with you." Despite surgery and many treatments, Mary's health continued to decline. The next months were tough. John took care of Mary with unwavering devotion, cherishing every moment they had together. "I love you so much," Mary would whisper during the quiet nights. "I love you too," John would reply, tears in his eyes, knowing each day was a gift. In her final days, Mary was hospitalized, her condition worsening. John stayed by her side, holding her hand and comforting her as best he could. "Thank you for everything, John," Mary said softly, her voice weak but filled with love. "You are my everything," John replied, holding back his tears. Mary smiled gently and closed her eyes for the last time, passing away peacefully. After Mary's death, the house felt empty and quiet. John missed her terribly. Sarah came home from college to help her father, and together they found comfort in each other's company. "I miss Mom," Sarah said one day, hugging her father tightly. "I miss her too," John replied, "but she will always be in our hearts." To honor Mary's memory, John and Sarah planted a garden in the backyard, filling it with all of Mary's favorite flowers. John spent many afternoons sitting in the garden, surrounded by the beauty and tranquility of the flowers, feeling close to Mary. "She is always with me," he would say softly, a sense of peace washing over him. John and Mary's story, although marked by trials and sadness, is ultimately a story of enduring love, a love that did not end with death but continued to inspire and shape their lives. It teaches us that love can last forever, even after we are gone, and that the strength we draw from each other can help us overcome the darkest times. If you liked hearing about John and Mary, remember to hit that subscribe button for more stories like theirs. Share this video with someone you love, and let's keep the stories of love and resilience alive. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you next time for more inspiring stories.